How's it? Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to blackpil. So today I wanted to talk about, why a lot of us become blackpil, or how come some of us are like in between blackpil and Mgtow. See, I didn't choose to just join in because I liked it or anything. It's not fun to be kind of, I was depressed back in my few years back. One, I was lied and deceived in believing that I was going to find the girlfriend or the perfect girlfriend, and it never came. It never came through. The only thing I had was terrific. I would not say all of my relationships were bad, but a lot of them were terrible experiences that I would never want to go back to dating ever again. It was completely devastating. First of all, came across a mentally ill Stacy when I started my Bumble, which I want to get later into how it looks, which does help you a little bit. Like, I don't have nothing against it. Like, I am not a bitter or resentful person at all. I might sound a little bit more enthusiastic with life, but I'll explain why. So, an example. So, when I started like the dating game, one of the girlfriends that I ever came across, well, she was pretty. She was a cool person. Don't get me wrong. She was like a typical girl. Honestly, a lot of people criticize me for dating her. Why would I, succumb to a girl that had some little issues of, trauma. She had a little bit of trauma, so it made her into a little bit of a neat girl, a little bit of a, I don't know how to explain. She wasn't gothic or anything. She was just quiet, a little bit too cringy. But, we have things that we were kind of connecting. We had some chemistry. We had, love for, because we were nerds. We were very nerdy. But then this is where the mentally ill Stacy came. I'll make separate videos, but, the mentally ill Stacy had some problems. She was a little bit chubby, not too bad, single mom. But when I was dating, I was still in the blue pill Norman days. Unfortunately, I was not fully aware of the red flags, like secret red flags. A lot of us men are deceived to begin with, so we don't have that typical knowledge of specific red flags. We're told just the red flags from like normies is make sure she's not a drug addict or gold digger. Basically, pretty much that's about it. But she had a lot of trauma issues. She was into psychotic men. This is why we never started dating. We hooked up and everything, but I had to really discard her out of my life, or else she would have brought me a lot of, disaster and a lot of drama. So, yeah, a lot of the rest experiences is to forget about single mom. And basically, 2 single moms I dated. One of the reasons why I kept going with single moms in my town, it's very small. We have 3 towns next to each other, and they're like 10 or 15 minutes apart from each other. And the sad part is, I don't really think besides me there's other black pill normies. A lot of them were blue pill or red pill at max. So people don't care. People get into relationships, they end up getting divorced, leaving the 2 child behind, and it's extremely difficult to find a single woman without a child. It's very rare. The only way you can ever find one is the college girls, but we all know that's definitely never going to happen. You have to have a specific aesthetic beauty to even consider a college girl. I'm still not, that was me back in the day. Right now I don't care anymore about when I was in my younger years. On top of that, a lot of the females around my town, the college girls, we know they were up to, making extra money in a different way, what I mean? So none of them were not even, loyal. Like I said, I have 2 important universities that are kind of national wide known, and they're known for their football culture. And I wish I could give you more in detail, but I don't know if it's going to come across my channel someday. I don't want any repercussions for someone blackmailing me for posting things about the local town. But I have 2 very important universities. but a lot of girls cannot afford it, or they're going through different financial stuff. So a lot of these college girls I end up seeing it, out of curiosity, because one of my friends told me about it, and they're in like these, ads on the internet, if you know what I mean, even kind of escort mags. So, why even bother? Why even, pursue women to begin with? So honestly, I stopped dating. Because my last girlfriend, that was the last girlfriend I think I had a higher chance to getting married. She was not attractive. She was in the sub 5 range to start with. A little bit overweight. Unfortunately, a lot of these girls who are in the younger years, I beat her by 5 years, but we had some chemistry, some connection. So, if you're gonna date, if you're still in the blackpil, but you still want to pursue dating, the best thing where I can recommend is you don't expect a Stacy. I know everybody's word. We're not gonna get a Stacy. We're not gonna get any of the high tier Beckys. We're just gonna get sub 5s and under. But yeah, this ex, the last ex, she was not just it wasn't really because she was unattractive. She was okay looking, but she was into the body positivity movement. She didn't really want to lose weight to begin with, and I keep encouraging her because I work out. I do a lot of activities, and unfortunately, she hesitated. That she was too shy, too low self-esteem. She didn't want to be, comparing herself to the other girls that go to the gym. A lot of things, and it was getting very, tiring and overwhelming. And she kind of didn't really want to fix her diet. And then I started thinking to myself, what allowed me, or why did I even have this idea to even date her? Like, I don't know, I was blue pill, I was not a little bit depressed, and I kind of had to lower a lot of my standards because everybody kept telling me that I was too picky, too discriminating. And I kept, and they would never take my side, they would take the female side. So, yeah, I ended up breaking up with her. She was manipulated. She was a leech, total burden for my financial situation. She did impulsive spending, so I ended up dropping out. And that's what kind of is how the saying goes. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Was, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. It's not even worth it. It's a lot of money spent. You don't get to spend it on yourself. You spend it with on the females' agenda, because that's how you were led to believe that you had to take care of the house, you had to be the provider, the mask, this and that. Now I'm in a much better place after that breakup of a year ago, because I discovered the blackpil in 2023. That's when I was in my last days of my dating game. And then I kind of discovered the Mgtow, and I kind of liked the idea of the Mgtow. Was one of the reasons is when I started that journey, I feel so much better about myself. I begin to love myself more. Like, now I work out, I do boxing, I do dancing and yoga, and I do everything very balanced. Like I explained in my video, I don't do everything at once because I'm not going to harm my body, but I do these specific activities, as it helps with my mental state, helps with being shape. Not only that, I feel good about myself. Like, I feel like I don't need to impress anybody besides myself, and nobody really cares. On top of that, my financial situation is getting a lot better. I'm saving a little bit more. I did some spending, but it is what it is. You gotta have to really, the money either way. Like, I'm not spending on unnecessary things. I'm spending on my health, on my knowledge, and even though I'm not pursuing women, I'm just trying to have a better aesthetic. I'm trying to look presentable, look the best version of myself, because I'm starting a side business. I kind of look, even though we don't like it, but in this world, looks or your appearance does have a big reputation at the beginning when you meet a specific client. They happen to be female. So here's another funny part. A lot of the corporate world in my town, because my town might be small, it's 3 towns, but it might be small, but it has a lot of heavy industry. So whenever I have to meet with a client, it's 100% of the times, or basically 90 to 10 out of 1, you're going to encounter a female. The females are the ones that do customer service related services. That's what I kind of do. You kind of have to really look presentable, not only from your clothing, from your hygiene. I do believe that even if you have this like aesthetic look, I'm not considered a chap, but I am like in the high tier normies from what I've been reading. I've been reading by other black pillars. So I have a TikTok channel. But I've noticed, it didn't help a lot for me to get into specific doors. Not all of them. I'm not a child. I never will. Like, I don't see myself dating any. Which I don't plan it for anymore. Because I think women do have a little bit of a hideous agenda behind them. So, sorry if I pause. It's just I'm driving. Gotta make sure that I'm not distracted. So, please bear with me again. But either way, I have looks max. I have done everything. I wrinkle after I turned 30. I was not happy with myself. So yes, I invested in that. Recently, I invested in Botox and everything. Yeah, people are going to criticize me. Why looks max? It never began for me. That might be true. It never began for me. But like I said, I don't care about females. I don't care about having a girlfriend. Like, I love my sister and mom. Don't get me wrong. I love females. I am attracted to females. It's just I don't like their agenda. I don't like their standards. I don't like a lot of things about it. I don't like how they became more radical. But it is what it is. There's not much that we can really do. But I've invested in Botox. I changed my hairstyle. Gym Max. Changed my diet. If you're ever going to do it, just have in mind, do it because that's what you want to. Even if you want to look yourself the best version of yourself. And yes, like I am, and I have the black pill ideology or the mindset. It's just a lot of people are not going to believe me because I sound more like red pill, more of like self-improvement, which I'm not. I'm just giving you guys the advice. I'm giving you what worked for me, what worked for others. Like I said, didn't give me a SDC, didn't give me the best, but give me leftovers of Tyrone and Chad and Chad Raiders, so it's unfortunate. But the reason I love Smack is for business purposes. Unfortunately, yes, we have more females on the corporate world on these specific stages of events. I have to do the best because let me tell you something. My buddy, he was unemployed. This is a buddy, like he's one of my buddies. He's tall, he's 6'3". He's built like a football player, but he lacks aesthetic beauty. That's unfortunate. He might get like accepted. He's been accepted into like the factory where anything that's like hardcore labor, he has been successful. But when it came to like specific to provide services or anything, he lacks aesthetic beauty. He has at the time he was kind of like in his worst stages. He was like into like pot smoking. He let his hair grow. He let his hygiene. He took a shower and everything, but he kind of dressed kind of. Unfortunately, I hate to say this word, kind of bummish. And he tried to get a specific job, and it was like a specific customer service job. He was qualified, but I think one of his interviewers was a female, and he even told me he had this like specific vibe from her that she was kind of not in distrust of him. And he's like, well, I think she didn't really like my presence, like. And I try to help them out because they told me, you gotta dress more professional. You have to have a very good hygiene, have a good room. And actually, it was two buddy of mine, so this is something kind of interesting. This is why I consider them to have a bad name. They were going to get a job. Well, one of them, the 6'3", built like a football player. Right now, he kind of slacked off, so he's getting a little bit heavy, but he has a lot of potential there. Yeah, like I do envy him because he is tall. He has that specific frame that might give him the boost when it comes to females. But I'm happy for him. He couldn't get the job. And my other friend that works there, told me in secret, just on me with private, that the reason they didn't hire him because they thought he was a bum. They thought he was a little bit scary looking. So like I'm saying, don't get me wrong. I am sure there's women that are qualified, maybe, but I do notice, and I have noticed that scanning for females, that they look at individuals for hiring, and they try to see how you look like. If you have at least a presentable, at least a decent look and a decent hygiene and grooming, might get a chance. And my other buddy was trying to apply for an apartment. He liked to dress bummish because he has money, but he doesn't like to, let people know his financial situation. And I can't really say about his aesthetic beauty, but he's a little bit shorter. And they never approved his, what I can say, for the apartment. He was denied, and once again, we found out later they didn't like his present. So this is why, little by little, I started to get more black pill, more into reality. Now, I never considered myself ugly or super unattractive. I always got compliments for certain features, not all. I was only criticized for being too soft, being too formal, being too nerdy. I also got criticized for my religious background, which I'll do another video about it. And on top of that, they never liked that I was never toxic. See, if you live in small town, it's going to become hell. A lot of girls are too into this norm of the toxic or super toxic. I do believe masculine is important, but there's these typical guys. They'd say a women beater chat. That's what girls want. And let's say they end up running out of options because these high-tier Beckys they get pumped and dumb. They at least want a masculine guy. So I forget the term in the black, but it's not quite attractive, but he's very masculine. Let's say kind of like a rock. That's what they look for. So this is why I started dating, was the girls saw that I work out. And that's what really frustrated me with a lot of these girls that I went on dates. They only gave me a chance because they liked the body, they liked what they saw, and also because I could provide. And these girls were unattractive. They had very poor habits of taking good care of themselves. Some of them had bad skin or they were a little bit overweight. And when this specific girl told me, what interested me about your pictures was she said, I like your eyes, but I like your body. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what you really like me for. No, she's like, no, I got to meet, you're sweet, you're this and that. And before, I can't get too sick. And also, I don't want to be criticized about my weight and acne. I know. So she was extremely entitled to believe that she deserved a Chad or at least a masculine top guy. And I told her, and I dumped her in the same night. And this is why I'm so gratitude that these specific last dates or last relationships that I ever went through, I discovered Mgtow and I discovered blackpil, and it made so much sense because I was lied and deceived by family members, by pastors, by school systems, by everybody in society that men were too much of to be discriminated. We had our standards and everything. Now that I'm free, now that I broke away from that matrix, relationships, not worth it. It's going to ruin your financial situation. A lot of these girls are leeches. If you're not extremely attractive, most than highly, there's going to be a chance that you have to be the provider, or else the girls are not going to provide because they are entitled to their money. They think that it's time for them to have the leverage in marriage. A lot of them were feminists. Second, they're going to manipulate you and try to give you barriers, put a barrier between your friends and your family, because that's what happened to me. And third, they expect you to marry them after 6 months. So it's not worth it. It's a scam. These women do have an evil agenda. And like I said, in conclusion, a lot of us don't want to be blackpil or decided to be in this sphere. It chose us. It is what it is. I always been part of this black shadow. I just didn't know how to discover it first. Second of all, looks max, do it. If you're trying to pursue something in the world, don't do it for the females. Females don't care how much you spend or how much you look. And here's another thing. Females are becoming more radical. Even if the guy does some changes to himself, now they're gonna criticize you that you're all plastic, just how we used to criticize these dumb models that did extra, plastic surgeries, whatever. Because women are starting to, make fun of men for that. Look it up. Looks max because you want to look presentable for corporate, for whatever. Because obviously this world is complicated. You gotta learn how to play the game. And like I said, my two buddies went through that. That's how I got, it was a extremely black pill brutal that they couldn't get a job, and one didn't get approved for the apartment because they didn't like their presence, they didn't like their weird looks. And the last thing is, stay away from relationships, stay away from marriage, never get compromised. Yes, a lot of blackers might criticize me for saying that I experienced that, I don't know, that I'm trying to keep you guys down. It's not nothing about that. I do care what's happening with men. It's just women are, I was lied to. I had to hit rock bottom to learn my lesson that these relationships destroyed me, destroyed my financial situation for a little bit. Took precious time of my last 20 years, of my 20s, excuse me. It's difficult. Like, I don't mean to be better. I don't mean to be hateful. I'm not trying to be a hateful guy. I'm not trying to be this negative influencer. It's just, I got to start, sharing my experiences, things that I see in small towns, things that I've seen. And it's the same agenda. Women have that same program developing into the brain. It's money, status, show off, and just, enjoy the moment, And this is another thing. Women will get married to you because they see they can get a financial, benefit. And here's another thing. They're all aware about prenups, but they'll act like they're going to deny the prenups, but they have other ways to get, crap out of you. There's a lot of things to learn. I have to make another video, but that's pretty much all I have to share for you guys today. This is the first video. I'm going to be uploading 2 more. So I was just inspired. I just got off my appointment, got my Botox, so I was wrinkling pretty bad. Here's another thing. I didn't want to get Botox. The only reason I got was, the past relationship, this financial situation put me into a mental stress, and I saw it on the decline on me. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, it's always cold and warm, so I always get these little allergies. But either way, I noticed that I had some wrinkles, I had some stress. I'm looking a lot better now. I changed, back to shape again. I don't know, feel very motivated. So I hope you guys liked the video. Hit the like button, share it. If you don't, put in the comment section things that I can improve. I understand this is not the best quality video, but I am promising that I'll make much more quality videos, more better content. But right now I'm very occupied. I have a lot of things on my agenda, so that's all what I have for now. So you guys have a good one, stay safe, have a good weekend, and stay away from relationships.